All right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 7:04, and we are the representative town meeting. This is our regular meeting of March 8th, 2023. The roll call will be done by me tonight because our clerk cannot make it tonight. Karen Adams. Robert Bailey. Joe Burrell. Here. Matthew Brennan. Larry Bright. Here. Clarence Casper.
Here.
Thank you. Genevieve Cerf. Representative Chase. Kathy Chase. Representative Kopp. Here. Representative Crockett Hubbard is not able to make it tonight. Representative Dean Shinbrot.
Here.
Representative Eben.
Here.
Thank you. Representative Frickman.
Here.
Representative Fritchie. Here. Representative Gardner. Here. Representative Gauthier. Representative Gibbs. Representative Gustafson. Here. Representative Hainline. Representative Hanscom. Here. Representative Ivy.
Here.
Representative Jacome. Here. Representative Massett. Here. Representative Merritt. Here. Representative Norman. Here. Representative Aubry.
Here.
Representative Perry. Representative Kristen Powers.
Here.
Representative Sean Powers. Here. Representative Pacino.
Here.
Representative Ray. Representative Scott.
Here.
Representative Semeraro. Representative Thomas.
Here.
Representative V.C. Williams. Here. Representative Watson.
Here.
Representative Weaver was here. Did she leave? She came. Representative Wells. Representative Whitney.
Here.
Our newest representative, Representative Christy McElroy. And Representative or Moderator Rusk is here. Did I miss anyone?
Bailey, please.
Representative Bailey is here. Anyone else? All right. We have a quorum with 30 people. We can please stand for a moment of silence and our salute to the flag. Representative Merritt, if you would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I will take a motion to approve the minutes of February 8th, 2023.
So moved.
Who was my first and second? First, Jacome. Sorry, I'm trying to take notes at the same time tonight. And second, Chase. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, we will approve the minutes. Okay, we are on to when Representative Weaver walked in, so we're up to 31 people. Public petition. This is the portion of the RTM agenda where the RTM welcomes comments from the public. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes, and if possible, submitted written comments. Presentation should be limited to matters pertinent to the town of Groton. The moderator or members through the moderator shall ask questions only in order to clarify the speaker's presentation. Responses may be given by the moderator and or the town manager. Individuals should state their name and address for the record. I have Christine Meany.
Good evening, members of the RTM. I'm speaking here tonight to address the proposed changes to the Shinnecock Golf Course, their golf cart rental fees. My name is Chris Meany, and I'm a City of Groton member. Did I say my street address?
Why don't you go again?
I'm sorry, 54 Nicholas Avenue. I'm
And
sorry.
can you talk really closely to that mic so that the people at home can hear?
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Meany, and I am a City of Groton resident. My husband and I live at 54 Nicholas Avenue, and we've lived there for over 33 years. We are both very long-standing members of Shinnecock Golf Course and thoroughly enjoy playing there. The Shinnecock Golf Course Advisory Board, the GAB, and the Town of Groton Recreation Commission have proposed a number of changes and increases in the overall fee schedule for 2023. One of these proposed changes is to increase the cart rental fee for golfers who play before 9 a.m. And the current rate last year was $15. And now they're proposing they want to change it to $20. This represents a 33.33% one-year fee increase. For comparison, in 2021, it had been $13 last year in 2022, and then it increased to $15. And the current proposal would now increase the fee to $20, which is an overall 54% fee increase since 2021. I feel that this proposed increase will unfairly penalize this group of early bird loyal golfers, which include many seniors on a fixed income, and therefore especially sensitive to the effect of price increases. Many also are elderly and may have physical limitations affecting their ability to walk roughly 5-mile course. Renting a golf cart, thereby becomes sensitive or essential, for many seniors. Many of these early bird golfers are also members of Shenny. The ability to regularly play at Shenny is a benefit of living here, which enhances the quality of life. Continually raising this incidental fee to rent carts is a hardship to a number of older people who may find it hard to absorb yet one more price increase in these essential inflationary times. I suspect that due to the relative small number of people playing before 9 who rent a cart, the overall extra dollar realized will not have a significant impact on the overall budget. However, the impact on this group of citizens adversely impacted can be great and should receive heavier consideration. Playing golf is an opportunity for our citizens to just get out and have fun, and it should remain financially feasible. I therefore recommend that this proposed increase in the cart rental fee from $15 per rental to $20 not be accepted or adopted. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a question? Representative
Thank you,
Groton.
Madam Moderator. My question would be, did they increase the golf cart fees for after 9 o'clock golfers also?
Well, they're saying it's going to be $20 completely. They didn't change that. It was always $20, yes. So they're right now affecting the people before 9 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak tonight? Okay. Did you have a question? Sorry.
Follow-up question?
Sure.
Grab a microphone, please.
No, sure. Sorry. Do you have any sense of how many golfers there are in the mornings, just a ballpark, sort of those early birders?
Well, I think the course opens at 6:30 and this goes till 9. So, and it goes every 10 minutes. They set, the times. To be honest with you, I don't know how many, but that would be like a question to ask, maybe the pro shop.
Right.
We could definitely get a follow-up on that. John, did you?
I was just going to mention, you were in attendance last night at the town
Yes.
council.
Yes.
And you handed me the written
I haven't.
concerns,
I
right?
revised it.
And I sent that on to Mark Berry, the Parks and Rec director, asked him to take a look at it and
Okay.
relay those concerns.
And I did revise it, so if you
Okay.
want to do the same with this
Okay.
too.
Representative Patino?
Oh, okay.
Would a senior discount, bringing it back down to $15 for the mornings,
That's what we're
work,
hoping.
even though they do rise it up to 20?
That's what we're hoping, before
Okay.
9 o'clock, yes.
Okay.
Because if you add that up, just say for an example, you play 3 times a week, if they say it's gonna be 20, that's $60 a week, 240 a month. I mean, that's a large amount of money for people on a fixed income.
Do you want to hand that in?
Yes.
Okay. We're on to receipt of communications. Does anyone have any communications that they wish to share? Okay, seeing none. Moving on to report of the town manager.
That was more quickly than I'm used to. First, a compliment. Boy, going back to the beginning of COVID, everybody's gotten much better at a synchronized Pledge of Allegiance. It's way better. Financial report for as of March 6th. Fund balance as of June 30th, 22, that was approximately $31.9 million, which is 22.4% of the FYE 23 general fund adopted budget. The general contingency budget for FY '23 was appropriated at $300,000. It's still at that, but we will be using all of that and probably more. The capital reserve fund balance as of February 28th, 23 is $1.1 million. Few items of interest. Thrive 55 here, we're recently notified that they, similar to the library getting an ARPA award, they'll also have an ARPA award for $88,000. So at some point, the RTM will see something from them. Let's see, if you missed it, Tom Hennick from the FOIA Commission gave a FOIA training at the February 28th Committee of the Whole. If you haven't seen it, it's worth viewing. It's recorded. We started to count the cow at 5:30 that night, so you can just look at that cow. A reminder, the FYE 24 budget public hearing will be in this room on March 29th at 6:30 p.m. Let's see, last night, the town council recommended providing this year's and next year's opioid funds to Community Speaks Out. That will come to the RTM fairly shortly. Let's see, a couple Parks and Rec things. For one thing, we were notified recently that the town's eligible for $1.17 million in transportation alternative plan grants to create a bicycle improvement project connecting Depot Road with Thomas Road. Now, there is a 20% match. However, some of what we do in the challenge grant that we had already received will count towards that, so we're trying to figure out what's happening with it. But that may be, depending on where it goes with the council, that might be something that ends up here. We've been, for the last year, so we've had an architect, almost a year, an architect working on the community center plans, renovation plans. We should have that any day now, which will have cost estimates, so that'll be good to see. Let's see, and that's all I have, and I can take any questions.
Any questions? Representative Weaver.
I was just curious, what is the financial amount for the opioid funds for this year and next?
This year's $112,000 and change. We don't know yet for this following year. We expect we'll likely know right towards the end of this calendar year. I don't think it'd be less than that, but there's some new settlements for distributors with Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, so I anticipate it's going to go up at least somewhat. So each one's structured differently. For instance, the reason the Janssen manufacturing one is kind of brought that up last year. If you remember, we had 22,000 or so for the first year of the distributor. This one, Janssen structured theirs as 3 years, heavy up front, and then weaning down. So each one's different. So we won't know probably until about October what the next year is going to be.
Anyone else?
Just one other question with that. I know that it was designated to Community Speaks Out, but has any consideration given to give some funds to GASP, which is also an organization within our community that teaches our youngsters in all different age groups about prevention and that type of thing?
The town council didn't discuss it at their discussion.
They didn't?
No, they did not.
Okay. Is there an opportunity to look into that, to give it to another person as well?
First, right now, they've passed and it'll come here, so obviously you can bring that up here, but the recommendation comes next to the RTM, so.
Okay,
And,
I would like that to be possibly considered. I know I haven't been here in a while, but thank you.
Need to speak into the
Oh,
microphone.
sorry about that.
No, that's me. So, do it. Want me to repeat it? Oh. Okay, sorry.
So the request was that gas be considered for opioid funding. Representative Eben had her hand up next.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I would like to ask folks, Mr. Byrd, if you could speak into the microphone. You
I'm sorry.
kind of faded out repeatedly through your talk, but I did want to have a update on Branford Manor, if it was possible, and on how the work is going in that neck of the woods.
And I don't have my notes with me. I had sent the latest report, I think it was
I
last.
saw that.
Yeah,
But I
last
think
week.
it's useful to allow the town and especially the city residents to get an update too.
Right. I might have a couple points of give me 1 sec here if I can. No, shoot, it's not on this one. Can I have 1 second to pull one up? Okay. A few things I can point out is now and then related. The owner puts out a update to the tenants, and then they send Mayor Hedrick and I a copy, and then I send it on to the RTM and to the town council. And I also publish those on our website too. By the way, all those documents are out there. Plumbing replacement and vapor barriers have been completed in almost all of the crawl spaces, along with insulation being replaced in most. They expect to wrap up, they said that last week, expect to wrap up the work by the end of March. 137 apartments have new air conditioners installed. Basements, 100% of the basements have had their replacement plumbing completed. 107 of the apartments with basements have had their windows replaced. And then one item of news too, I've been working with Ledge Light. Ledge Light's procedures is they of course inspect up front, but after the work's done, they accept photographic evidence that it's done. Steve Mansfield's going to implement random checks on site to just, not that I think they're, just to keep them honest, not that I don't think they are. And then one thing Councilor Bordelon brought up last night is, I'm sure everybody's seen the discussions on mold standards or the lack thereof. So one thing I expect to come to the council is a discussion on potentially asking the health board locally here to consider anything they could do for creating standards. I think that's all I have on that right now.
Representative Massett?
If in response to Representative Weaver, gas comes under the umbrella of Ledge Light. And because they do, would they qualify even for art money?
They would qualify. I know the council was looking at those who don't have other funding sources. That's where the focus has been.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Just to be clear, you said that Ledge Light accepts photographs as confirmation of compliance?
Yes, that's part of their standard practice.
All right, that is kind of problematic in some ways. So one of the things that could be done moving forward, I think, would be to have periodic inspections after the fact. A lot of the documents that I read and in a lot of the research that I've done in other states, in New York City, for instance, they, after an incident where there's a finding, they do periodic inspections once every 3 months to prevent the cosmetic cover-up type situation. So I would encourage any conversations with Ledge Light, which does have the authority to make their own regulations, to include some sort of rigorous after-the-fact inspection, as well as rigorous inspection upon any complaint or any indicating factor.
Right.
And I did send a number of documents to the town council. We spoke last night, and I'm glad to hear that there's some willingness to move in that direction. So I didn't want to jam up the report of communications tonight with that report because I shared it in public comment at town council meeting last night. So if anyone was interested in that, you can check that out. And I can also forward the email that I sent to the town council. I'll send out to the RTM at large. Has a lot of good background information. Thank you.
Anyone else have questions? Okay. Then we are moving on to committee reports. Our first committee report is from the Community Development and Services Committee. Did you happen to get minutes on that? Because I don't.
I don't have minutes, no.
I don't, and.
No, I don't think, I haven't received any yet.
And Representative Gauthier is not here. Is there anybody who was at that meeting who could speak to it? Who else? Representative Kopp.
Yes, thank you. Madam Moderator, I did not take notes because I didn't know I'd be reporting on it, but basically there is a grant for our TV team for specific items of technology that they're just was asking for our approval. Could they accept it? It was a unanimous agreement to accept it by our committee. It was about a 20-minute meeting, and the final question that was asked by Chair Gauthier was whether there would be any impact on the town in terms of matching funds or anything, and the answer is no. So it's simply giving them the approval to accept the grant funding.
Do you have the resolution?
I have it in the agenda packet.
I thought it was in there. Yeah, it is. There is language.
Okay.
So
let's
let's.
read that into, I'm sorry, I didn't anticipate.
Would you like me to read it out loud, or
Okay, here we go. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to?
either one? I've got
Go
it
for it.
right here.
Yep.
Okay. Meeting was called to order at 6 p.m. for the Community and Development Services Committee. Chair Gauthier asked for a motion to support application to the Public Education and Governmental Programming and Education Technology Grant, otherwise known as PEGPESHA. Representative Kopp so moved, and Representative Semeraro seconded. Sean Greeley explained the purpose of the grant to help support public institutions pay for technology upgrades to stay up to date with streaming services technology. This is the fourth time the library has applied for this grant. They received about $44,000 last year, which was not enough to cover everything. This ask is to help with video editing and speed with uploading to the cloud. Looking to upgrade teleprompt system in the studio as it is very outdated and does not work with current Windows software. Looking to upgrade several other pieces of equipment, new outdoor recording equipment like upgraded GoPro and drones. Will not hear about April if it has been received. Will not hear until about April, I'm sorry. Jennifer Mealy indicated that Mr. Greeley actively pursues this grant every year to cover the expenses so that it does not fall on the taxpayer's shoulders. Greeley indicated that the town has received approximately $250,000 in grants for library equipment upgrades. This technology is used by various citizens and town departments. Examples given included recruitment videos for the town police, videos for the economic development department, seniors kayaking, etc. Library staff are FAA licensed to operate the drone. Chair Gauthier asked if this grant would create any obligation or risk for the town if it required any matching funds. Mr. Greeley answered no. Chair Gauthier called the motion to a vote. The motion passed unanimously 4-0. Chair Gauthier thanked Mr. Greeley and Ms. Mealy for joining the committee. Sorry for the pronunciation. Meeting adjourned at 6:19 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to read the resolution into the minutes here? Or actually, Representative Gauthier, if you would like to?
Oh, she's here.
Do you have it? I have it. If you want to come up.
The resolution reads, resolution authorizing the town manager or his designee to seek, apply for, and accept grant funding from the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection and public utilities regulatory authorities, public education and governmental programming and education technology investment account to replace, upgrade, and enhance GMTV equipment at the Groton Public Library Studio and the Thrive 55 Plus Active Living Center, as well as other portable remote recording equipment used for producing Groton government access programming.
Do you want to make a motion?
I'd make a motion to accept this resolution.
Motion was made by Representative Gauthier, seconded by Representative Adams. Thank you. Is there any discussion? Just for the record, Director Mealy is actually on Zoom. Oh, and Sean's here too. Sean Greeley. Yes, Representative Gauthier.
Yes, again, I'd just like to reiterate my thanks to Sean and Jen for going after this grant every year. I don't know if it was reflected in the minutes. Sean indicated that about $500,000 has been received by the town of Groton to help upgrade this equipment. And he's really been keeping that cost off of the taxpayers' shoulders and also providing a really great service. GMTV is an incredible resource for citizen involvement, and I just really appreciate Sean's efforts here. So, thank you.
Representative Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I just want to echo Representative Gauthier's sentiments on that. In regards to GMTV, having spoke with a number of friends and family around the area, looking at other towns, what GMTV does for local government coverage is phenomenal. It's a crown jewel. It should be considered a master class for any other municipality looking to exercise transparency and accountability and accessibility for their citizens. So I'm highly in favor of this grant and commend them for their work.
Representative Jacome.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Same thing as everyone said. Sean has done a great job. I think we realized that the cameras here and included across with the city, the annex, and at the library, and the editing equipment that he's brought with the grants is phenomenal. So I just want to thank him for that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we will take a vote. There are currently 34 of us. All in favor of accepting this PEG-PESHA grant, please raise your hand.
Aye. 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 Aye.
If you are online, if you could please raise your hand just so that I have an accurate count, please. Okay, is there anyone opposed? Come here. Okay, Representative Gardner. If everyone online could lower their hands. I'm going to ask that question one more time. Representative Aubry? Okay. Is there anyone opposed? Is there anyone abstaining? Okay, that passes 33 to 1 to 0, with Representative Gardner being the one abstention. Okay, we are moving on to Finance Committee. Representative Sean Powers.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
You're going to have to be really loud.
Yeah, I got it. I'll get it, okay? Thursday, February 23rd, 2023, at 7:30, we called a meeting to order. It had to do with the American Rescue Plan and ACTS project awards. The members present were Representative Chase, Fritchie, Jacome, Gardner, Norman, and Scott. The meeting was called to order at 7:32. The new business, as I'm going to let Representative Jacome, Representative Gardner, and Representative Chase read exactly what the grant said.
Whereas the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, Public Law 117-2, the Act extended grants to municipalities in order to fund properly authorized specific projects as reconciliation for pandemic-related impacts, and whereas the town of Groton received a grant under the Act with a full allocation of $8,587,894.04, and whereas the town recognizes this grant to be a unique opportunity, and the act imposes limitations and the grant funds may be spent only upon projects authorized by the act and which are identified by the town's legislative body, and pass it on.
Okay, application 1, Emergency Communications Center improvements, $175,000. Application number 15, Mobile Meal Service, $131,575. Item 16, Stabilization Fund, $189,000. Application number 17, Economic Assistance Funds, $100,000. Application number 18, Housing Rehabilitation Funds, $175,000. Application 19, Chamber of Commerce Tourism Car, $24,000. Application number 21, Emergency Response Bikes, $11,000. Application number 23, Enterprise Resource Planning, $10,000. Application 25, Groton SEC TV Studio Upgrade, $35,000. Application 30, Pitching Facilities Improvement, $10,650. Application 34, Wastewater Mitigation Project, $66,850. Application number 35, Library Park Accessibility Project, $71,095. Application number 37, Impervious Pavers, Specialized Maintenance Equipment, $52,000. Application number 38, Reducing Isolation Through Social Engagement, $68,000. Application number 39, Healthy Groton Campers, $38,800. Application number 40, Bicycle Pump Track, $25,000. Application number 41, Community Murals, $10,000. Application number 43, Steelworkers Premium Pay, United Steelworkers 9411-0351, $25,500. Application number 45, HUD-approved Housing Counseling Agency, $100,000. Application number 47, Police Premium Pay, 67, $100,500. Application number 49, Tri-Town Trail Greenway Signage, $4,500. Application number 51, Enhanced Trail Signage and Wayfinding, $15,000. Application number 52, Violence Prevention Education Programming, $24,000. Application number 53, Street Tree Inventory and Planting Plan, $60,000. Application number 54, Groton Hockey Rink Upgrade, $225,000. Application number 56, Groton Wheels to Work, $62,500. Application number 58, Swim Lessons and Summer Camp Scholarships, $20,353. Application number 59, STEPS Program, $22,000. Application number 63, Pequannock Bridge Fire Department, Premium Pay number 23, $34,500.
Application number 64, Respirator Fit Testing Machine, $20,100. Application number 65, Town Hall Landscaping, $10,000. Application number 66, Fiber Connection and Digital Optimization, $23,000. Application 68, Groton Telecommunicators Premium Pay, $16,500. Application number 72, Groton Pickleball Community Center Court Construction, $129,000. Application number 74, Pollutant Mitigation Project, $25,080. Application number 76, Town Employees 117, $58,500. Application number 80, Outside First Responders Mystic Ambulance, $45,000. Groton Long Point Old Mystic, Noank, and Center Groton Fire Departments, $15,000 per department for a total of $120,000. Application number 81, Human Services, $150,000. Application number 77, Town Employees Part-Time 10, $2,500. And the Community Center Baseball Field Rehab, $25,000. Application number 46, Grasso Gardens Sewer and Broadband Infrastructure Project, $795,000 contingency fund. And be it further resolved that premium pay for town employees shall apply to those working for the town as of March 16, 2020, and continue to work for the town at the time of distribution of funds. And be it further resolved that the premium pay for full-time employees within the police department, including dispatch, shall be $1,500 per employee, while other full-time employees shall receive $500, and part-time employees shall receive 50% of the full-time authorized payment for their department. And be it further resolved that the Groton Town Council refers the said grant in the amount of $2,466,503 to the representative town meeting for acceptance of under Chapter 4 of the Town Charter, Section 4.1.2D.
Madam Moderator, you need a correction on the first page. I'd like it reread into the record for corrections because a section of it was missed. Representative Jacome?
I'll read it again
Thank
from the beginning. So resolution to approve the American Rescue Plan Act ARPA grant, whereas the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, Public Law 117-2, the act extended grants to municipalities in order to fund properly authorized specific projects as reconciliation for the pandemic-related impacts, and whereas the town of Groton received a grant under the act with a full allocation of $8,587,894.04, and whereas the town recognizes this grant to be a unique opportunity, and that the act imposes limitations in the grant funds may be spent only upon projects authorized by the act and which are identified by the town's legislative body. And whereas the town acknowledges that the act provides United States Inspector Generals with legal authority to audit, investigate, and oversee projects and activities carried out with the grant in order to determine the grant funds are properly used. And whereas the town has solicited input from the community by a variety of methods, including a proposal and vetting process, in order to identify projects in which the grant may be used and to ensure the grant is spent as authorized. And whereas the Groton Town Council, as a legislative town body, previously allocated $3,742,240 in grant funding to specific projects, and said grant were accepted by the RTM. And whereas after the first allocation, the Groton Town Council, as the town's legislative body, reviewed proposals to projects to use the grant funds and has, based upon the process, subsequently identified projects totaling $2,466,503. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Groton, exercising its authority under the Act, hereby resolves to accept the said grant funds for the following projects totaling $2,466,503.
Thank you, Representative Jacome.
If you'd like, I could, so moved.
Okay, so it was moved to accept the payment of the ARPA funding by Representative Jacome. Is there a second? Second by Representative Norman.
Can I finish my minutes? Or we want to?
Okay.
Thank you. So at that point in time, we read into the record, Representative Norman made a motion to move it, the money and to discuss it. Representative Chase seconded it. At this time, Town Manager Burt, along with ECD Director Paige Bronk, or the manager, the ARPA Coordinator Kevin Fitzgerald gave us a briefing on the process we developed and steps in order to release funding, along with the history of the process of the awards. The reserve funding was discussed, the time and the meeting numbers that took place and what the council discussed, the cost and the price of material and contractors for the work to be performed. The committee asked a variety of questions on individual awards, which we're going to go through tonight. We have 3 people here to answer questions. The spreadsheets, which were on the grants, we discussed. We asked the difference in the awards. The different type of employee premium pays was discussed, along with the first responders and various projects which qualified for the fundings. the fund balance and reserve, along with the over and under costs of certain projects because of the cost of construction, and these are not, we discussed the fact that they're not long-term awards and are not renewable and incur any yearly financing for these things. The entire committee asked questions, and I think we did a good job discussing it. I asked for a vote. 6 were in favor, 1 opposed, 1 abstained. Motion to adjourn was made by Representative Jacome, seconded by Representative Gardner at 8:13. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Bronk and Mr. Fitzgerald are both here if you guys have any questions. Before we get started, I want to explain a few things. One, we will vote on this as a whole, so we do not have the ability to go through and decide, yes, we want to fund this, and no, we don't want to fund that. So we are voting on this as a whole package. I also want to note that I am on the Board of Trustees for the Bill Memorial Library, which is item number 66 on here, the fiber connection and digital optimization. And in my work, I work with Groton Community Meals. They're one of my partner agencies that I work with my job. So those two things being said, I do not receive any funding from either of those agencies, so I am able to vote on it.
I'd like to make note also, Madam Moderator, that
go ahead.
Councilor Franco is also here to answer any questions that we may have that the town council asks to these gentlemen as well.
Thank you. Representative Massett.
I would also like to disclose that I sit on the Board of Trustees for Bill Memorial.
And Representative McElroy. We'll need a microphone.
So I also sit on the board of the Bill Memorial Library, and I receive no funding from that.
All right. Representative Ober, you've got your first hand up. You're muted. Representative Ober?
I didn't mean, I didn't mean to have it up. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Representative Casper.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I had a question for Sean on the minute.
For Sean in the minutes, okay.
He stated the vote, but he stated the vote, but he did not state who voted no and who abstained. That should be part of the minutes.
Representatives Chase, Jacome, Fritchie, Powers, Scott, and Norman voted in favor. Representative Gardner voted against it, and there was no abstentions.
Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. Representative Casper, did you have any other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have questions? Representative Gauthier.
So, thank you. Less of a question, but more of, well, I guess a question. Is there any way to package these resolutions so that the RTM involvement is actually meaningful and not perfunctory? Because if we can't speak to any of the individual items, it's either a full package up or down. We're just rubber stamping it.
So when we look at like the budget, we can look line item. This is not something we can do line item because the town council voted it as a package. So if the town council had voted it piecemealed, we would vote on it piecemealed.
Gotcha. So it's up to the town council about whether or not they actually want the RTM to be participating in.
Well, it's how they
this fully.
choose to do it, I would say.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Representative, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to point out, in that instance, you still wouldn't be able to change the number. It'd be a pure up or down, even if it was done that way.
But it would be per item if
Correct.
they did it per item. Correct. Representative Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Was the town council made aware of that?
Yes, town council is aware.
And did they vote on whether or not they wanted to give us an opportunity to go line item?
No, they didn't vote on anything like that.
Did they discuss it? No.
I don't remember, because they did it as a package, so.
Right. I did watch that meeting, and I don't remember it being discussed. So, I don't know. Moving forward in the future, I do align my concerns with Representative Gauthier on that, and I think a number of other people in the room, too, based on the murmurs I just heard. Yeah, I think moving forward in the future, like things like this, we should encourage the council to consider that You know, if they want the RTM to have a voice, I mean, because this is where either it's all or nothing. And if it goes back to the council, then it's a whole process all over again. You know, it's similar to like an ordinance or something else. You know, we can target language and send recommendations back, you know, if we had the opportunity to speak to it in a more articulated fashion. So, thanks.
Representative Aubrey was next.
Yes, I may have missed it over the time that I haven't been paying attention, but I didn't hear any nonprofits. Did we not do any nonprofits?
There are, so Groton Community Meals is a nonprofit.
Yeah, they'd be a nonprofit.
They are?
Yeah. they'd be
Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce.
Like even that bicycle group, I mean, a lot of these are.
The ARC. Oh, I work with them. Well, no, not really.
The library and.
Groton Little League, I'm assuming, is a nonprofit.
Yes.
Mystic No Ink Library. I don't know what Mind Matters LLC is. They're for profit? Okay. Do you want to go through these? Project Oceanography? Project Oceanology, sorry. Okay. Can you talk right into your microphone?
Is that a nonprofit?
Project Oceanology?
Yeah.
They're a state-funded coalition.
Right, I know that. I'm being facetious. I'm sorry. Jill,
Yes.
my question, you guys aren't moving. There you go. I'm sorry. My question is I'm bothered by the fact that, and I have to say I'm prejudiced because I'm on the board, but nonprofits like Always Home and some of the others that do so much for people in the town, and they're, you know, always having to raise money. I'm very disappointed that the town did not accept their applications, because I know they came in. I know they were asked a lot of questions, and I don't know how something like that could be overlooked. So I'm extremely disappointed on the amount going to nonprofits for what it's worth. Thank you very much.
Do you want to address that?
Just to clarify, that Always Home was a recipient for the Groton Wheels to Work, receiving $62,500. Would you like me to indicate the nonprofit ones, or?
Representative Ober, do you want a list of all the nonprofits that are receiving funding?
Oops, sorry, wrong. No, and I apologize. I didn't know that the wheels were the same as what I was talking about. So thank you for the correction.
It's okay. Representative Eben had her hand up next.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I served on the Long-Term Recovery Committee for over 2 years, and this was one of the items that we reviewed and voted on, actually, to send to the town council. Part of that discussion included a kind of a process-oriented development on what would happen to these allocations once they pass through our committee. And at the time, I just want to state that I advocated for a very strong and substantive role for the RTM to play in this process of approval. And I believe that that was written into the flow chart that committee had put together at the time. And so I'm really disappointed that the RTM is
We're losing you,
relegated once again to merely rubber stamping something that comes as a complete package. Excuse me?
I'm
Can you
sorry,
not hear
we
me?
just lost you for a second. We got you back.
Yes, we've been losing you for many seconds throughout this meeting. I emailed Mr. Byrd about that. I think the Wi-Fi is buffering incorrectly, or Zoom is buffering incorrectly because it keeps freezing. So I don't know where you lost me, but I'll just say that I'm really disappointed that this process that I invested over 2 years of my life in has resulted in a process in a kind of action where the RTM simply rubber stamps, to no avail, a big package of things that they have absolutely no input in except to ask, maybe descriptive questions of a few town employees. And that is certainly not the outcome that I had hoped for. I think that the value of the RTM is in the fact that it has representation from all parts of Groton. And that's something that the town council does not have. And so I wish the RTM was used more to provide input into things like this, and really had thought when I was involved in the long-term recovery that was where this process was going, that the RTM would be looped in a substantive way. So I just want to put it out there that this is probably not the best way to use the RTM as a big giant rubber stamp of 41 people. Thank you.
Representative Bailey?
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. I have a question for the town manager concerning budget and finance, section 9.6 of the charter, financial powers of the RTM. And the thing that I'm concerned with is that some of these projects are physical projects.
Hold on. I've got a point of order. 1 second. What's your point?
Okay.
My point of order is that we are discussing the distribution of these particular funds, not about our responsibility during budget, and not how the RTM is being used at this point in time. Thank you.
I was just stating something in the charter.
Hold on. I'm just trying to read the 9.6 real quick.
Yep. Thank you.
So,
was addressed by the attorney's opinion.
one more time.
And that 9.6 is part of what the attorney addressed.
Okay. Do you want to mention that?
Yeah, and I had, if you remember, I sent out a legal opinion that this is like other grants where they come to the RTM and they accept or reject. Board of Ed has had other big ones also, but, so it all comes down to the 10,000 mark and to approve or disapprove it. What's the exact language? Actually, I think I have the.
It says basically anything over $10,000 has to be adopted by the RTM by a vote of a majority of those present and voting in such meeting. Was that your concern, Representative Bailey?
Yes, but also to include in that section is that I got to call it there again.
I'm just
please.
trying to get clarification
Is
on this.
no capital project, regardless of the method or source of funding, shall be undertaken until it has been approved by a majority vote of the RTM. And I was just thinking some of these projects are physical projects. They're actually called projects in a resolution and in the grant.
So that's.
And that was looked at by the attorney as well as 4.1.2 for the powers to accept or reject gifts or grants. So.
Sorry, just real quick. I have bad eyesight, but I think it says the recording is paused.
So I guess it was looked
It
at.
says recording paused. We're being recorded on here, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're good. So can you go over the attorney's opinion on that, just so that we have it on the record?
Sure. Let's see. The charter vests the town legislative. Okay, well, hold on a sec here. Let's see. Does the RTM have the ability to modify a grant offered the town or stated differently to accept or reject a grant in part? The town charter does not give the power to the RTM. The charter vests the town legislative power in the town council, except those powers and duties specifically assigned to the RTM under 4.1.2 of the charter. Among the powers specifically assigned to the RTM is the power to accept or reject gifts, grants, with a value in excess of $10,000. See Charter Section 4.1.2D. This is clear language. It limits the power of the RTM to accept or reject a grant. It does not authorize the RTM to accept or reject a grant in whole or in part, but instead leaves the RTM with an up or down vote. The intent is clear. It is to give negotiation of the specific terms and scope of a grant to one body, the council. One may easily see that if the RTM had the power to accept, and then now it's more just
Opinion.
alliteration, yeah.
Okay. Are there any questions on that? Representative Scott.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I would stand up, but I'm trying to read my computer at the same. Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
It is.
In section 9.1.3, it says proposed capital projects. It does indicate here that the Town Planning Commission must go through all this stuff. Did that transaction take place on these capital projects?
I know I talked to Deb about it. Do you know if it's gone through yet? I'd have to check with Deb Jones on that, because I know we had talked about it before. I'll double check to make sure.
So if they haven't, then are we authorized to move forward?
Yes.
We can move forward and they
Yeah.
can stop it
Oh,
if
yeah.
need be.
Yeah.
Okay. Representative Norman.
Just really quickly, I was wondering, I noticed that for the premium pay, it was only for people who are still employees of Groton. I think that COVID was a really hard time, and many people experienced burnout, and I was sort of wondering what made that distinction. If someone had actually lived through that for a year or two, why we're not giving them that premium pay and trying to find those folks who served us well in the time versus people who are still around.
I think the council is just trying to set some sort of parameters, just to keep it in check. Do you remember anything more in the discussion?
I believe that's right, just a structure.
And I don't think there'd be many that would have, we don't have that high turnover, but.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Thomas, I don't think you've spoken yet. No, you have, sorry.
Yeah, would we be able to get a copy of that attorney's opinion sent to the whole RTM?
I did before, but yes, I can resend it.
Yeah, please. That'd be great. Thank you. I'm at a loss as to what to do with this. I don't agree with the attorney's interpretation. And I believe that the RTM should have a meaningful role in all this. And however, to vote it down is going to just kind of recycle the whole process and delay the funds even further for those agencies that actually really do need it, and the people that need it, and the people that deserve it. You know, the first responders and everything. So this is a sick laundry.
Your mic just died. Can somebody hand him another mic, please?
So long story short, for myself, I'm going to abstain from this vote as a protest to the process by which this has come to our desk. And I urge everyone else to kind of think critically about this whole situation. Thank you.
Representative Casper.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I would question how anyone who thinks we should have a bigger role in this suggests it would play out. We would have to review every single one of these grants, have a discussion on every single one of these grants, vote on all of these grants, and how many meetings would that take to accomplish that? So I just don't see that it's physically possible for us to do that. And then especially then it would have to go through the committees first, and we'd have to read all those committee reports that handled whatever grants, and it'd be more than just the finance committee, I'm sure. And I just don't think it's possible to do what other people are suggesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Gardner.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I'm going to be a no vote on this. Several reasons. One is I don't like the fact that we have to vote for it all as a package. Number two, I don't understand why people who are our employees are getting extra pay for working through COVID. I worked through COVID, no problems. I'm not getting any extra pay for it. Why should anybody else get it? And third, this is why we have inflation. We have a bunch of money printed by the federal government and then doled out in make-work projects that really shouldn't be done. This is what causes inflation. And if we don't have to rubber stamp this, we can send a message to the town council that we don't like the way they're doing business, and we can vote no on this and send it back to them. So we do not have to rubber stamp this. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Hanscom.
Madam Moderator, the Republicans would like to have a caucus.
Oh, okay. We're going to break for 10 minutes. 10 minutes for a caucus. It is 8:04. A couple. Is everybody back online? Good.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we are back. So Representative Scott.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to set this aside for 1 month so that the Town Planning Commission can have a proper vote on all the capital improvement projects.
Second, please.
Okay. Motion to set aside for 1 month, so can you finish that?
So the Town Planning Commission, as per our charter, can properly vote on these capital improvement items.
Just because we don't have a clerk here, so I'm just trying to write everything down properly.
Bailey, second.
That was a motion made by Representative Scott, seconded by Representative Chase. Is there any more discussion on that motion to move this for 1 month? Seeing none, we will vote on, oh, I'm sorry, Representative Aubry? Do you have a statement regarding the motion to set this aside for 1 month?
Yes, I was just wondering, Paige and the gentleman with him, or maybe the manager, but how cumbersome is that going to be? Are they going to want a lot of additional information on anything that has to do with construction or anything else?
It's hard to know. A couple of months at least.
I was going to say, they're not going to get it done in a month.
Is that something that can be done in a month?
That'd be pretty big to get done in a
I
month.
believe it would be difficult to do in 1 month. Just to clarify, the question deals with the projects that would be basically those that are capital improvement programs
Capital improvement for the town.
for the town. So they could try. It would be difficult to get it done in 1 month.
It would be difficult to get it done in 1 month.
Point of order.
That microphone isn't working.
Madam Moderator, point of order.
Yes.
You did call the vote. You did say vote. You called the vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the vote must continue.
Okay, so we are going to move forward with the vote. All those in favor?
Excuse me, I had my hand up before you started that. It just was a matter you didn't see it, which I understand. I'm not criticizing you, but my hand was up before you started the vote.
So your question was if this can be done in a month? And the answer was not likely.
So wouldn't we have to modify whatever they're trying to put forward?
So we are going to vote on what was put on. If that fails and there's a second motion. Okay. So all those in favor of setting aside this vote for 1 month.
Madam Moderator, roll call,
Yes, ma'am.
please. Thank you.
Okay, so the motion that we are voting on right now is a motion to set aside the American Rescue Plan Act Projects Award for 1 month, so until April of 2023, so that the Town Planning Commission can properly vote on the capital improvement projects for the town of Groton. I am going to start with Representative Adams, yes or no, or abstain? Bailey?
Yes.
Burrill?
No.
Brennan? Is Representative Brennan still on?
Yes.
Is your vote yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Representative Bright?
Yes.
Representative Casper?
No.
Representative Chase?
Yes.
Representative Kopp?
No.
Representative Dean Shinbrot?
Yes.
Representative Eben?
Yes.
Representative Frickman?
No.
Representative Fritchie? No. Representative Gardner?
Yes.
Representative Gothier?
Yes.
Representative Gustafson?
No.
Representative Hanscom?
No.
Representative Ivy?
No.
Representative Jacome?
No.
Representative Massett?
No.
Representative Merritt?
No.
Representative Norman?
No.
Representative Aubry?
No.
Representative Kristen Powers?
No.
Representative Sean Powers?
No.
Representative Pacino?
No.
Representative Scott?
Yes.
Representative Cimarero? Sorry, Representative Thomas?
Come here, you.
No.
You're right.
Representative V.C. Williams?
No.
Representative Watson?
No.
Representative Weaver?
No.
Representative Wells?
No.
Representative Whitney?
No.
Representative McElroy?
No.
And I am a no. Did you happen to keep those numbers? Sorry, I'm not as skilled at this as Betsy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24. I have 24 no's.
10 to 24.
10 to 24.
That's what I have.
That is correct. So that motion fails. 10 no's, 24, or 10 yeses, I'm sorry. 24 no's, 0 abstentions. Representative Scott.
If I may continue, my question would be for the town planning officials, how much time would you need to have the planning commission properly vote on these capital improvement items for the town of Groton?
This is not working, correct?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Here, take mine.
Or take one of these.
I don't have an exact date. I don't staff that commission. I was basically commenting that 1 month is probably too short. Certainly 2 months, but I would hope it would be less than 2 months.
Okay. So with that, I'll make a new motion, similar to my other one, that we set this aside for a period of 60 days to allow the planning commission to properly vote on the capital improvement projects affecting the town of Groton.
Second.
So the motion was made by Representative Scott, seconded by Representative Adams, to move it to the May 2023 RTM meeting, which is approximately 60 days from now. Representative Casper.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. The previous motion to was defeated to delay it for 1 month. Why does Representative Scott seem to think that making it 2 months is a legitimate follow-on to that suggestion that was defeated?
Do you want to answer that, Representative Scott?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Moderator. The town building officials just told us that they could do it in 60 days. They told us that they couldn't do it in 30 days just as the vote was starting to happen. So I think 60 days is the right time moving forward.
Representative Merritt. Massett. Sorry, I told you.
This is a question for the town manager. So if we put it off for 60 days and it passes, how long is it going to take for the various organizations and projects to get their money?
I mean, at least an extra 2 months then. And it's going to be a long lead time as it is because we have to do an agreement with each and every one of them. So as it is, it's going to take a while to get funds out to people.
So would it be safe to say 6 months after 6 months from May? Would it be that long?
Not from this delay, but I think as it is, it's going to take at least a few months to get all the agreements in place, don't you, Kevin and Paige? And then add another couple months at least on, depending on timing.
Yeah, just to be clear, for many of the projects, there will be multiple thresholds and milestones that they're going to have to complete. One project is not the same as another project. So if one project could demonstrate and provide documentation they've expended funding, they would submit a request to us for reimbursement. That would be fairly soon. Another project that would take maybe 12 months or longer to complete, they're going to have multiple thresholds built into their agreement. So they're going to request reimbursement on different levels of expenditure based on the documentation that they provide. For most of these initiatives, it is going to be a reimbursement type program. There will be some exceptions to that, but that has to be factored into the time frame as well.
Girl. Don't be a good girl.
Representative Aubrey? You might want to mute yourself.
Sorry about that. I was talking to my cat. Oh, God.
Paige, hold on, you're not up. You were just talking during somebody else's time.
Is it my time to respond?
Hold on. No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Were you done with your statement?
Yes, I was done, thanks.
Representative Chase had her hand up next.
Yeah, we couldn't hear most of it. We were talking to a cat. Town Manager Burt, the monies, the ARPA funds have to be allocated by the end of FY24. Is that correct?
Correct. And we're probably going to have a second round of these
And
go
they
through.
have until the end of FY26 to spend, correct?
Correct.
So, no CIP ever takes a month and a half or 2 months to do. This is no different than any other CIP. So I don't think it's a hurry. We have till the end of FY24 to allocate. And the end of FY26, and it's a reimbursement-based contract, so to speak. So there is no hurry.
Well, just to mention, we've had, as mentioned earlier, the long-term recovery committee spent a couple of years on this, and as soon as the funding was announced, we started getting regular calls of people. The whole intent of this is to get it to people as quick as possible. That was the whole intent of this money, was to help people and get it out there. So, and it's already taken way longer than it should have.
But if we take another 60 days and then you tell them, okay, it's a go for you, and you, then they can start their process. 60 days is not a lot of time that they're going to be saying they can't do the project, because they have another 3 years to do the project.
Representative Merritt, you had your hand up.
I was just going to speak on the time element from those that gave out the money as to what we do with it, but I think that question has been answered.
Okay. Representative Sean Powers.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Just a few clarifying questions now. If we were to delay all of this, what are the construction costs? Would they be adjusted, or how much would basically they need in reserve to do their work if in fact we delayed them 60 to 90 to 120 days? Do we have any ideas? John, Paige, either one of you can answer.
I don't have an accurate response to that, other than I'm certain it's going to increase. I really can't comment on what those increase. I mean, everyone has been seeing all the headlines regarding labor and materials that are growing exponentially, but I don't have a value that I could provide.
Okay, my other question would be this. If in fact we were to wait 60 days, we have a legal opinion, so the opinion said we're supposed to vote the way we're supposed to vote, according to what we understand as far as the charter is concerned. Now, these funds, we're going to see basically spreadsheets, is that correct? For the progress reports and everything that's going to go forward with the whatever capital improvement projects they are. And, what is the benchmarks that we're looking at? I mean, is it going to be every 2 months, 3 months? And like the funding, I think what we discussed in committee was the fact that these funds are all going to be scrutinized no matter what people are doing. Is that correct?
We could provide an update, certainly every other month or
Correct,
the
at
schedule
least
that works best for
quarterly,
you.
right? So we know where we're at with all of this money that we're putting out. I think Representative Scott asked that to us in our committee, and we referred that we were going to actually see benchmarks as far as where they're going to be in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the road. I have one question for Manager Burt, and then I'll sit down.
I was just looking at the town charter. When you look at that, it says for the annual budget, they have to go through the planning commission. I don't see where it says in there for this.
Representative Scott, you were saying 9.1.3, correct?
Right. That says for the annual budget. Which we do, which goes to the planning commission next week. Monday night.
I have one question for Manager Burt.
Because I know I talked to Deb about this. I don't think this has to go to the planning commission when it goes through this process, but I can double check with her tomorrow.
My question for you, Manager Burt, is this. If in fact the funds are there and they're used, and we have a capital improvement project, and I think we discussed this in committee as well, the money that's there that's going from ARPA to that program would be returned back to the general fund, is that correct?
The ARPA dollars, everything no, I mean, nothing goes to the general fund.
But it goes back into the...
Anything
right.
right, because I anticipate some things will, be a little over, some will come under, and then we'll have a second round. We have money set aside for a couple of things I think will fall through, at least partially, eventually.
So I just want to clarify this. So what is being proposed right now is that we postpone this due to 9.1.3, sorry,
Right.
9.1.3,
But that does not require it here.
but that's not applicable to this.
If I could argue that, though, it says as a part of the annual budget or as a separate report attached thereto, would this funding be considered a separate report attached thereto?
They're saying that's attached to the budget. If you if you submit that 6-year CIP plan, that's an attachment too. No, this definitely does not apply to this.
Representative Norman.
Hi. Beyond wanting to get, people to feel comfortable going forward and doing this, I think I disagree with Representative Chase where she was saying we have until the end of 2024 to allocate it. But my understanding from that meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if someone fails and we don't do the reimbursement because they fail and we don't have time to reallocate it, we just lost that money. So we should want people to start ASAP, so any programs that aren't able to follow through or come in under budget, we actually have the time to reallocate those funds and we don't lose those funds altogether. Is that correct?
Yeah, go ahead.
My simple answer is yes. I'm going to ask Kevin to actually comment on this, but there are two timelines. You have the end of 2024, that the funding has to basically be earmarked towards initiatives, and then you have until the end of 2026 to actually expend it.
And just to add on as the contingency, they would be focused on improvements like Grosso Gardens, providing a long enough timeline to develop those plans and implement them. You wouldn't want to race against the finish line on something like that.
Representative Scott. I'm sorry, Representative Watson. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. One of the things, we were told that we're supposed to vote on this as one big group, that's I recall. And so why is it any different to pull something that might be a CIP out of it and change when we might vote on this than, let's say, the money for the Little League, pulling the money for the Little League out of it, let them make a determination, come back within a month. I just don't get the rationale for that.
So the question was, the belief was that under the town charter 9.3.1, it needed to go.
1913.
I'm sorry, 9.1.3. If you could pull it back up.
Yep.
Sorry, I just took it.
Yep, I got it right here.
That as part of the budget or separate report attached thereof, the town manager shall present a program previously considered and acted upon by the town planning commission. So the thought was that it had to go to the town planning commission, but in reading that, it says as part of the annual budget. So this is not part of the annual budget. So my question is, Representative Scott, do you still want to move forward with this vote that you made a motion to.
And they actually mentioned the year plus 5 years. They're talking about the 6-year plan.
Okay, so that motion has been withdrawn. So we are now back to the motion on the table, which is voting for the American Rescue Plan Act project awards. Are there any further questions? Representative Gauthier, you've already spoken twice on this. You sure? Okay, okay, go ahead. I think I had you as you raised your hand a second time. I'm sorry, I didn't check you.
So my question is really to my fellow members of this RTM. If you want our body to mean something and our time spent here to mean something, I know it is a hard pill to swallow because, yes, these agencies need their money. I don't deny that there are very worthy causes here. However, on principle, this is not how this body should be proceeding. This is not how the council should be relegating our body just because they can do it this way. It's not a responsible way for us to be allocating town resources. It is not a responsible way for us to be spending our time, frankly, to have been talking about this for 45 minutes, knowing that it's just a rubber stamp effort. And if doing the work to be diligent and thoughtful in reviewing each of these individually or as smaller packages, I mean, it doesn't have to be every single individual one. It could be a recreation package or a public emergency package. If you're not up to that task or don't think it's necessary, maybe this body isn't for you. I would really, really appreciate folks considering the principle of what we're doing here and what saying yes and rubber stamping this package means. My recommendation would be to vote no and recommend that the council break this into smaller packages and resubmit it to the RTM for consideration. Thank you.
Representative Jacome.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I think the council did what they did. They did their due diligence. If it's something that we wanted specifically to be broken down, then I think that's something we could have reached out to our counselors and told them that we wanted this to be done. The charter is specific on what we need to do as its financial body. I do not think we're rubber stamping. But if we wanted this to move in another direction, then we should have reached out to our fellow counselors. So I would urge support and passage. Thank you.
Representative Chase.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I agree 100% with Representative Gauthier, and I don't think, I watch all those council meetings, I don't think there was any opportunity for us to know ahead of what they were doing in order for us to say we don't want to vote it that way. So I agree, I'm voting no on this.
Okay, seeing no other hands, we are going to vote to approve the American Rescue Plan Act project awards. I'm going to do a roll call vote. Representative Adams?
No.
Representative Bailey?
No.
Representative Burrill? Yes. Representative Brennan?
Yes.
Representative Bright? No. Representative Casper?
Yes.
Representative Chase?
No.
Representative Kopp?
Yes.
Representative Crockett Hubbard?
Not here.
Not here, sorry. Representative Dean Shinbrot?
No.
Representative Eben?
Abstain.
Representative Frickman?
Was that Frickman?
Frickman.
Yes.
Representative Fritchie?
Yes.
Representative Gardner?
No.
Representative Gauthier?
No.
Representative Gibb? Nope, sorry. Representative Gustafson?
Yes.
Representative Hanscom?
Yes.
Representative Ivy?
Yes.
Representative Jacome?
Yes.
Representative Massett?
Yes.
Representative Merritt?
Yes.
Representative Norman?
Yes.
Representative Aubry? Representative Aubry?
No.
Representative Kristen Powers?
Yes.
Representative Sean Powers.
Yes.
Representative Pacino.
Yes.
Representative Scott.
No.
Representative Thomas.
Abstain.
Representative V.C. Williams.
Yes.
Representative Watson.
Yes.
Representative Weaver.
Yes.
Representative Wells.
Yes.
Representative Whitney.
Yes.
Representative McElroy. Yes. And I'm a yes. So that passes 23 to 9 to 2. Okay.
That's right.
Is that what you have? Okay. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Madam Moderator, you did not call me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Representative Cimarero.
Yes.
So I lied. That passes 24 to 9 to 2.
Did you get what time you came in?
I didn't. Okay. Thank you very much. So we are moving on to liaison report. Oh, I'm sorry, Representative Massett.
Only had 34 people.
I didn't have Representative Cimarero
He had
before.
arrived since the beginning.
Yes, thank you.
You want to ask what time you got here, just so we have it?
Representative Cimarero, do you know what time you came on? We missed you coming in.
Excuse me? Hello?
Yes, what time did you come in?
I've been here from the beginning.
Huh, we missed you in the beginning, sorry. Okay, liaison reports. Representative Jacome.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. The town council met for their regular town council meeting on March 7th at 6:30 p.m. There were several citizens' petitions and comments and concerns regarding the creation of a light trespass pollution ordinance, support for the National Opioid Settlement Funds going to Community Speaks Out, Shellfish Farm Co-op dispute, and Branford Manor. The council approved the National Opioid Settlement acceptance and allocation for year 2 and 3 to Community Speaks Out. They also approved the alteration of a scenic road for 853 River Road. They set a public hearing for a scenic road for 1206 River Road. They approved 517 and 529 Gold Star Highway properties extension of an option agreement, including, and also the Colonel Ledyard School property extension option agreement. They also approved the grades collective bargaining agreement. And the next regular council meeting is April 4th at 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Bright.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. There was no meeting, so therefore no report.
Thank you. Representative Chase? It's working.
No meeting, no report. We meet next month, but I also would like to remind people that if you have any questions for the town council, city council, board of ed, please email your questions to me so I can bring it to the body.
So for those of you who don't know, there used to be this committee that was the liaisons between town council, city council, RTM, and board of ed that has not met probably 3 years now. So Representative Chase is representing the RTM for that. Representative Casper. Gulf report.
There was no meeting of the Gulf Advisory Board.
Okay.
Therefore, there is no report.
Thank you. Representative Aubry.
The economic development, I think the biggest thing that came out of that meeting was the fact that they now have a subcommittee that's going to be working to reach out to businesses to reestablish the GBA. And if the interest is there, the EDC with their new chair will be moving forward.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll be successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I know there is a number of openings still for the EDC. Is that correct? Economic
Yes,
development?
yes. Thank
Yes.
you.
So if you're interested, to the public out there, it can't be one of you guys, but to the public out there, if you're interested in getting involved with the Town Economic Development Commission, there are openings. Please contact Town Manager John Burt.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody that I missed? Representative Merritt.
I believe it's in the realm of public works. The Groton Long Point Bridge and the Old Mystic Bridge are being bonded by the state.
Okay, that's going to be in other business. We're still in the liaison reports.
That was on my agenda last time around, with the exception of the Groton Long Point Bridge. That's been up and going as to who's even going to do it. And I guess
The state's going to.
the state is going to take that over.
Okay. Okay, moving on to other business. Does anybody have other business to share? Counselor Bordelon?
Thank you. I've just been listening in, and it was discussed the way the ARPA funds were allocated. For full disclosure, there was never a vote on the council. So if one or two councilors didn't like the way it was presented to the RTM, we had no voice in that. This is how we were told it was going to be done. It was not a formal vote or any way. So I can agree as a former RTM member feeling that you don't have a chance to vote on this. And so for those who either opposed or voted it down, I can completely understand that, and there's no disrespect. The other reason I want to speak on other business is the Property Use Committee that's been meeting twice a month, looking at establishing a Property Use Committee RFP process. It consists of 7 members, I believe. We meet twice a month. We always have public comment. You're always welcome to Zoom in or attend. And we even allow you to be part of the discussion throughout the meeting at every meeting. So if you have any interest in looking at this, I just encourage folks to get involved and come, voice your comments or suggestions. They're all welcome. And if you have any questions, the meetings are posted online. Thank you.
Thank you. And just because you cut out, it's Property Use? Reuse Committee.
Property Reuse Committee.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right, anyone else? Representative Thomas.
Quick question for Representative Bright. When is the next Citizens and Police Committee meeting?
It's in March.
Is there a date?
March 13th, I believe. It was in my report next week.
Okay, thank you.
Look on my report.
That would be Monday.
You're not on a microphone, so I'm going to say it's March 13th, May 8th, and 11 September.
Thank you.
Yep. Representative Gauthier.
Thank you. I don't know if it was noted at the beginning of the meeting. My apologies for being late. I was at the Property Reuse Committee meeting. Happy International Women's Day.
Yes,
to
thank you.
women here.
All right, seeing no other hands, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I got Representative Chase and Representative Kopp. Sure. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.